Today, Bethesda has introduced a new Quake Champions character, and rejoice, fellow children, it's hella lit. This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint, where this week it's Easter Monday.
We hope that you enjoyed the Easter Day Parade and the Easter Bunny was good to you this year, and put lots of presents under your Easter tree and into your Easter stockings.
And don't forget to have lots of candy ready for the door-to-door Easter carolers and the Easter treaters in their scary costumes.
Personally, my favorite part of Easter is the Easter barbecue and then staying up late for Easter fireworks. Good times.
Nintendo has discontinued the NES Classic, which is a neat trick considering they barely made them to begin with. The mini console that looked like an old NES and came preloaded with 29 beloved NES games and Balloon Fight was heavily sought after and notoriously hard to actually buy. After launch, there were endless stories of someone's local Target only getting 3 ever, or canceled Amazon pre-orders, or just not being able to get any information out of Nintendo. Many people were content to wait until Nintendo had figured out its supply issues and pick one up when things were less crazy. Nintendo eventually figured something out, and that was to discontinue the product because apparently it hates money. In a statement sent from the Dimension of Lies, Nintendo said, "We have paid close attention to consumer feedback, and we greatly appreciate the incredible level of customer interest and support for this product." You can buy one for almost $300 on eBay right now. Nintendo told IGN that the NES Classic was never meant to be a long-term product, which is fine, but that implies it was ever a product at all, which so far doesn't seem to have been the case. Think about it. Have you ever seen one in person? Do you know anybody who has one? I put it to you that the NES Classic doesn't exist, and anyone who says they have one is in on it.
Fans of surprise hit Nier Automata rejoice because next month the game is getting DLC that adds costumes, cosmetic items, 3 new battle coliseums, and a new super high-level boss fight where you do battle against the presidents of Square Enix and Platinum Games, which is Yosuke Matsuda and Kenichi Sato, respectively. But wait, you say, that's very silly. And yes, but the deeply self-aware Nier Automata acknowledges this, and that's why the helpful NPC that you talk to initiate the fight warns you that it might mess up and destroy your sense of immersion. But if you insist on fighting the CEOs, they'll shoot you with copies of their own heads. So enjoy that.
Bethesda announced a new character on the Quake Champions roster, a robotic killing machine named Clutch. Bethesda describes the character thusly, quote, "Clutch spent most of its existence underground crushing rock and protecting its human overlords from falling rock as a mindless, nearly indestructible mining robot. After stumbling upon unexplored ruins with strange markings, it gained the power to escape and punish its masters. Now it's a woke AF killing machine." Now, we can just take it as read that using woke in an official release makes you sound like someone's dad just came down to the basement to ask if the kids were feeling fleek today. But Bethesda actually seems to have some idea of what they're saying, but not enough to know that it's a bad idea. Positioning Clutch as a slave taking revenge on its masters, and using a phrase that grew into mainstream usage from the Ferguson riots and through association with the Black Lives Matter movement, is probably not a connection you should make. It comes across as disingenuous when you're saying he's basically a robot slave and now he's killing his human masters, so that's the same as the ongoing civil rights issues in the United States. That's not to say that games can't deal with complex societal issues, but when some of Clutch's voice clips are "I'll grease my gears with your blood" and "pitiful humans, you will all die," then maybe it shouldn't be this game.
More information has finally been revealed about the next game in the beloved Professor Layton series. Layton's Mystery Journey, Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy will be available on mobile on July 20th and on the 3DS later in 2017? Anyhow, the game will follow the adventures of one Catriel Layton, a riddle-solving detective and the daughter of our favorite professor. And sure, the game will have the standard puzzles to solve, but the biggest riddle right now is who is Catriel's mom? She bears a passing resemblance to the professor's assistant, Emmy Altava, but even the most casual Layton fan knows that while Emmy appeared in the 4th, 5th, and 6th games in the series, they're actually a prequel trilogy and take place before the first game, Professor Layton and the Curious Village. And yes, Emmy was raised by Leon Bronev, who is actually Layton's secret dad, but they're not actually related, so Catriel could maybe a true gentleman should leave one puzzle unsolved.
In other news from the plumber's parents, the Nintendo Switch is the fastest-selling Nintendo console ever, moving nearly 1 million units in its first 30 days. This doesn't begin to approach Microsoft and Sony, who both sold more than 2 million of their latest consoles in roughly half that time, but it's a hell of a showing for Nintendo, and even more impressive that it was in March of all months. What's unusual is that the Switch version of Breath of the Wild actually sold almost 20,000 more copies than the Switch itself. Even Nintendo isn't sure exactly how, but they suspect collectors might have bought a regular edition to play and a special edition to simply enjoy the company of. Another option is that almost 20,000 people don't have or can't get a Switch yet, but want to get Breath of the Wild aspirationally. What this means for now is that 20,000 Switch owners just had one friend suddenly get way more keen to hang out with them.
Speaking of which, what are you doing later?
I'm still playing Breath of the Wild, and no, you can't use my Switch.
No, you misunderstand. I don't actually want to use your Switch. I want to make sure you stay away from the PS4 until I've beaten Persona 5.
But we use the PS4 for Netflix, and there's new MST3K.
If you take the TV, I am going to make sure that you realize it's an MST3 mistake.
Was that supposed to be a pun? Like an MST? You're going for like mistake?
It looked a lot funnier in writing. Coming up, in the single-player campaign for Battlefront 2, you play as an Imperial TIE fighter pilot. EA said that they want to give the Empire a heroic figure in the same way that the Rebellion has heroes, which seems like a great idea since some people are really keen on being Nazis right now.
What if I leaned over so you could hear my improv raps a little better? Hey everybody, I'm here to say the rap is the only way to annoy your co-hosts on this day. Hip hip hooray! Improv raps aren't my jam, but it's okay, you're my fam. You understand what I must do. This song has many more verses from me to you.